Hi again, time for another weekly Wednesday Windshield webcast. I'm sitting in my car right now, cruising down the interstate. Thought I'd talk to you a little bit. Right now what I'd like to do is talk to you a little bit about JPEGs. What is a JPEG? I get that question asked a lot. JPEG is very common now in the computer world if you're a person that works with pictures. So let's talk just a second here about what the heck a JPEG is. JPEG, of course, like a lot of other computer terms, is an acronym. Geeks love acronyms. JPEG, in this case, is JPEG, and it stands for Joint Photographic Experts Group, which really tells me nothing about what the heck a JPEG is. Basically, the JPEG is a particular type of picture file type. You know, when you take pictures with your camera, when you save your pictures to your computer, they're saved as files. And we say there are different types of files, meaning, you know, how is the file saved and what kind of a program saved it. Well, in the world of photographs and pictures, there are lots of different types or ways a file can be saved. JPEG is just one of them. Well, JPEG came about mainly because of the internet. Pictures, by their very nature, when they're saved as files, are big. They take up a lot of space. And in the early days of the internet especially, how quickly something could travel across the internet was pretty limited. You know, most of us connected to the internet using dial-up modems, and our connections were not very fast. Well, it made it so that really there was no way for us to transfer pictures back and forth to each other. There was just no way to do it. The pictures were too big. So the JPEG format was invented. With JPEGs, your pictures are compressed. It is what we call a lossy, and that's L-O-S-S-Y, lossy compression format. Now, what does that mean? Well, what it means is that during the process of creating and then saving a JPEG on your camera or on the computer, the JPEG, the picture itself is actually compressed, and the pixels, those little tiny squares that make up your picture, pixels are actually thrown away or discarded from your picture to make the file smaller. So when you start talking about JPEGs, in one sense you're talking about a picture file type where you do actually lose a little bit of quality when the JPEG is created. Now, for a first generation JPEG, like when your camera takes a picture, it's still a great looking picture. In fact, if you could compare a first generation JPEG, one that just got saved, to an uncompressed regular picture file, you'd be very hard pressed to tell the difference. It isn't really until you save a JPEG again and again and again that you begin to see the quality of your picture go down the tubes. And that sometimes can happen when you're doing image editing. Image editing, of course, means you open up a picture, you're going to maybe change the brightness and the contrast and crop it and do things to it, and then you turn around and save it again and save it as a JPEG. And that, of course, makes it a second generation JPEG, doesn't it? Well, the more times you save a JPEG, the more and more you throw away pixels, the lower and lower the quality gets. Now, you need to understand something. Saving means you have the picture open in some program and you literally turn around and save it as a file. That's saving. You lose nothing quality-wise if you move or copy a JPEG file. So when you're copying your pictures off of your camera, or copying them off of your camera chip over to the computer, or you're moving them from one file or one folder to another, you don't lose any quality there. Okay? You only lose JPEG quality as you continue to turn around and save it literally from inside of a piece of software. Okay? So that's JPEG. And you know, the cool thing is that JPEG, you know, don't think it's bad because you lose quality, because again, a first generation JPEG is a great looking pictures, and one reason that cameras use the JPEG format when you take a picture and save a file is simply because you can get a lot of pictures then on the camera chip. A lot of cameras have the TIFF format or the RAW format, that you can also save pictures as. Those are full quality, full file size types of picture formats. And I tell you what, if you turn your camera, if you set your camera setting to save as those kinds of pictures, you're not going to get near the number of pictures on your camera chip as you can with a JPEG. And that's one reason JPEG has become so popular. That plus they're small enough that you can transfer them across the internet. So that's JPEGs. Hope you learned something today. Thanks for listening to another Weekly Wednesday Windshield webcast. I'm John Lortz. We'll talk to you later.